It's really a pleasure to be on this stage. I won't show any artwork, I won't show any project. Actually, I would just like to walk you through a perspective that is developing in the recent years in the genre of arts and humanities in outer space. It's called the space ecology. We've been observing not just the outer space, but also human in outer space. We have a transspectral instrument steering into deep emptiness, penetrating clouds of most distant materialities and energies, while also sneaking to humans on the Earth. We have a few hundred individuals performing different types of research, maintaining technologies, while hardly ever being themselves in outer space. Despite all of that, I argue we have never been in outer space. The outer space is an object of observation, translated into societal and cultural domain through scientific data representations, and our experience of the outer space remains locked in techno-scientific narrative. The outer space remains in the scope of our perception, but not yet of our being. At the moment, the terrestrial life that is most represented in outer space is space technology. Technology, in wider sense, historically emerged as an extension of human body with which we manage our environment and society. We are reaching into outer space. Our environment extends beyond terrestrial living materiality. Satellites, probes, rovers are not merely human prostheses. They're also extensions of terrestrial life. Therefore, they are more than human effort. Space exploration has shown that the Cartesian human, one who uses reason to explore natural science in association with the philosophical knowledge of principles known as technology, lacks the capacity to sustainably and live in sterile environments outside of Earth. Ecological thought understands that only ecology, the understanding of interconnections between numerous living agencies and the environment, can meet the challenge of pioneering extreme habitable worlds. Although natural sciences and humanities have been considered separate domains over the centuries, we are beginning to realize it's not possible to understand the human condition as separate from living environment where we live in. This insight is clearest when studying the human condition in the sterile surroundings of outer space, which comes as a novel challenge for humanities. Thus, one of the big frontiers in humanities studies is not just the question of relations between humans, technologies, and the environment, but the very knowledge within which observation, perception, and appearance take shape. Contemporary economic models, in general, take resources as a given and have a blind spot for material processes that establish the continuously replenish the capacities used by humans in the production process. As humans are not isolated entities, but share existence and body with non-human organisms, taking credit for all production in a closed biological system as such as the Earth is ideologically very biased perception. However, it is true that ecology of life has evolved from simple forms into more complex cultural forms that start to compete with natural forms. Human reach into outer space is thus not just human, it's also non-human. For example, less than human, non-human, the microbiome of the human is confronted with outer space conditions in intimacy with the astronauts' bodies dwelling in the space station. Another example is the extended non-human, where technology is the mode with which we observe and sense outer space materiality. However, if we aim to reach outer space embodiment, an emancipated and self-sustainable life system has to be established. As by Tim Ingold, life does not begin here or end there, or connect a point of origin with a final destination, but rather keeps on going, finding a way through the myriad of things that form, persist, and break up in the currents. Life is not self-contained form, it's formed together with living environment, or more precisely, the living environment is product by living entities through their lives. Existing technique has proven to lack the Spinoza's capacity to act, or Morton's essence, with which it could form a sustainable living environment as such. To achieve that, a more complex system is required, one like Earth's ecosystem, or experimental closed biological systems. We can understand extreme environments as other than human living environments, where humanness can be extended with its non-human extensions and counterparts. Before I conclude, if we seek to establish a living environment in outer space, outside the Earth, we should consider doing that not with techne, but with oikos. And that is another paradigm where the contemporary dominant techno-scientific knowledge would have to evolve towards the ecological framework. And as Morton describes, the ecological thought is a thought about ecology, but it also thinks ecologically. Thinking is ecological thought, is part of an ecological project. And Erich Herrl goes even further with environmentality as a new contemporary condition, discussing how we must take into account our environmental becoming, not only of technology, but also of power, thinking, and the world itself. We can conclude that if we aim to establish sustainable presence in outer space, emancipated from Earth, then the economos has to become one with the oikos. Thank you.